Okay, hi. First, I'd like you to just introduce yourself with your name, year, and major.
Okay, I'm Valerie Murthel. I'm a sophomore. I'm a pre-pharmacy.
Okay, cool. And what classes have you used clickers for?
I used it for Bio 200, which is evolutionary biology with Dr. Harrod. We used it. I think that's the only class I used to clicker for.
Okay, cool. And what was the brand of your clickers? I know that there's Turning Point, Interrite. Do you know?
I think it was the Turning Point. It was the blue and white one that's small.
Okay, cool. And how much did your clicker cost? Yeah.
I don't remember.
Okay.
I remember I had to buy the workbook that year with the clicker, the workbook, clicker, and dissection kit.
Okay. But do you remember, did you think that your clicker was too expensive? Do you think that they're too highly priced?
I just remember the overall package. I thought it was just too many things to buy at once.
Okay. And what do you think about the idea that students have to buy a new clicker for each class? I know that other people who I've spoken to have had issues with that. So
some people who were in my class retook it, and they had to buy a new clicker because he used a clicker that was different than the previous time he taught it. But I think the reasoning for that was that was supposed to be like the whole university using that clicker, but that's not really the case because a lot of teachers need different clickers anyway.
So do you think that there should be clickers that are just compatible for every class, or do you think that would be better?
I wonder if there's any way that we can get the clicker so that it's in the lecture hall. I don't know if that'd be too much of a problem. Or maybe a class set that we can it's not specific to you personally, but for the class at the time maybe you could just put in your person number and use it.
Oh, so they would just have them in the lecture hall, and you wouldn't actually have to go and buy them or anything like that.
Yeah, or maybe you can rent it, maybe something like that.
Okay. And how often did your professor use the clickers? Do you think that he used it a good amount of time, or too much, or maybe not enough?
I actually agree with him using it because it was an incentive to come to class, because sometimes it's kind of not fair sometimes when you come to class all the time and then no one comes to class.
Right.
And they still did a good grade because it was necessary to have the lectures online. So you could just sit home and listen to the lectures, but I guess that was a way for attendance too, and it kind of helped him see if we actually understood something or not.
Right. Cool. So did he use it a lot, or multiple times?
He used it. Sorry. He used it every single lecture, and he'd have I don't know, different depending on how difficult the topic was. He used it more times. More questions, and that would go toward our points for the class, so that obviously you want more points and stuff.
Great. So what do you think are the pros and cons of using clickers, and do you think that they enhance the classroom experience, or not really?
I think it enhanced, for that class it enhanced it because sometimes we were allowed to communicate with our neighbors to see, discuss what would be a better answer. And sometimes you're surprised, sometimes you think your answer's right, but people give other explanations, and it's always interesting to, hear what they have to say.
Okay. Do you think that the use of the clickers kept you more attentive in your class?
Yeah, because I knew it was always coming, so I was always trying to absorb what he was saying. So I was thinking critically of what he said, so I know how to answer any type of question.
Okay, good. All right. I think you might have answered this with your comment earlier, but I don't know if you wanted to add anything or not. But are there any improvements that you would suggest to the clicker technology, or the use of clickers in classes?
Maybe if they could find one that was compatible for all the rooms, or maybe just if separate sections of the school it's not really too compatible, have it in the room itself.
Okay. And then also my last question, I wanted to share with you a story that someone else told me when I interviewed her, and then I wanted to know your opinion on that. There was a girl who I interviewed, and she dropped a class because she had to buy a $30 clicker, but she also had to buy a $70 textbook, and she said that she felt like this was too much, like that was like a lot of money, and like she said if she just had to buy the clicker or if she had to just buy the textbook, then that would have been fine, but both was spending too much money on just one class. So if you were in her situation, do you think that you would do the same thing, or like what do you think of her decision to drop the class for that reason?
Well, if I really needed the class, obviously I wouldn't drop it.
Yeah.
I think, well, see, some classes have books that the book alone might be $150. I remember for chemistry, I had to pay $200 for my Mastering Chem and the textbook. So, and that's not even counting the workbook that I needed and my lab kit and all that other stuff. So, I guess if I really didn't care for the class or need it, I might drop it. Probably not if I really enjoyed it. And it's kind of feels weird when you know you won't need the clicker again. And I'm not sure if you can you sell the clickers back? Do you know?
That I need to find out. Yeah.
I don't. For some reason I don't think you can, but
Okay.
That's ridiculous though.
Yeah. Okay. Well, great. That's really all that I had to ask you. Yeah.